Hi guys, welcome to a new show that we're trying out today. This is Black Arrow Collections and I'm your host for this episode, K-Diz, and that seems weird not having my boy Rudy next to me to help introduce the whole thing because that's kind of his thing, you know. So yeah, it's a new series that we're going to start. It's basically just going to be talking about our collections as gamers, obviously always growing, so plenty of updates to be said, but so sometimes it'll be like the both of us talking about someone's collection. In this case, it's myself talking about a collection, and I'm sure Rudy will be doing the same with some of his collections too, because we know he likes to talk about the stuff he has, man. That's another thing, that's his thing. So first episode, as you may see, I'm going to be talking about the Nintendo Wii and the games I own for that. Always a bit of a iffy console for a lot of people, but obviously a lot of hidden gems and a lot of hours of fun to be had on a Wii, and I guarantee I've had that as well. So I'm just going to go through some games and have a quick chat about them, and here we go. First up, can't really say too much about this yet because I only picked it up at the weekend. Rampage Total Destruction. I was a big fan of Rampage on the Atari 2600 I had as a kid, and I kind of feel that the genre, well, I say the genre, the actual series probably didn't really peak again after that initial run of the first game. Obviously my 2600 port, as a little kid, I didn't know it was a poor port and graphically inferior to pretty much every other version that was out there. But I played that game to hell, man. I would go through city after city, just keep racking up the scores, and I mean, this just looks like a kind of a beautiful version of that, so I'm quite looking forward to doing that, and this might make a good episode for Black Arrow Game Talk because I think it's up to 4 players simultaneously, so definitely worth it, I think. Another game that I recently picked up and I've started to play, Super Paper Mario. Big Mario fan, as you may know. Haven't spent too much time on the RPG side of things. Always been the platform guy. Loved Super Mario RPG on the SNES. Hadn't played any of the previous ones on N64 and then GameCube prior to this. But started playing this, and because there's a bit of a crossover between the two styles of platform and RPG, really enjoying it. Kind of funny, as a lot of the RPGs are, like the Mario and Luigi ones on the Game Boy Advance and at DS. But yeah, getting into it, looking forward to playing it a lot more, so Rampage might have to wait a bit longer. A Boy and His Blob. Again, memories of playing this, an original version on the NES around my friend Tim's house. I think it's a David Crane game, the dude who made Pitfall. And it's obviously a reboot slash remake, I guess, about a little boy who has a pet blob, and you can feed him jelly beans to do certain things to help you, like puzzle solving in a platform sort of respect. So you'll start to figure out how to make your blob turn into a ladder or turn into a hole so you can drop to the level below, stairs and things like that. So it's quite a slow-paced game. Very beautiful art style, sort of cartoon animation style. Very cute. So as a 31-year-old bloke, you know, this ain't your Call of Duty I'm talking about here. But so unique, and you can pick this up, I think, for a reasonable price still, and it's definitely one worth having in the Wii collection because it's so different to everything else. Super Mario All-Stars is exactly what it is. It's the first 3 Super Mario games that you know, and then the Lost Levels as well. You know, Super Mario Bros. 2 in Japan, in their SNES form, so the updated graphics. Just released on the Wii. It was for the 25th anniversary of Super Mario Bros. The series. I picked it up mainly because it came with a book and a CD, audio CD of a lot of Mario tunes, so it was a nice collector's box. It was worth having for that. So I haven't really played this a lot. I think me and Rudy used this to shoot the Mario Brothers Battle Mode episode of Black Arrow Game Talk, just because we're still struggling to get original SNES hardware to capture at the moment. Obviously that'll change. So yeah, it's good for the collection. Already own it on the SNES, already own the NES games, but yeah, collector, what we do. Donkey Kong Country returns. Very good platforming game. Anyone who loves the Donkey Kong Country games on the SNES, massive gap between releases of Donkey Kong Country 3 in 96, and this in about 2010, 2011 I think it was. But brilliant game, very similar to the old style ones, and that's what we like. Great music, good graphics, platforming fun. Wii Sports. Everyone got it with their Wii. Granny was playing it. Everyone was playing it. My favourites on there, probably the bowling and the tennis. The golf is fun, but the control's not brilliant. Baseball, I could never really tell if I was winning or not. And the boxing's a bit, you're just pummeling and hoping for the best, really. But the tennis is always a lot of fun, and bowling, definitely a lot of fun, and be worth getting people round again for that soon, I think. Mario Strikers Charge Football. I like this game. I prefer the one that was on the GameCube, just because I prefer the controller than using the Wii remote for doing saves and stuff. But it is a lot of fun. It's a good multiplayer game, and it stood the test of time. There's not really other games like this. It's no FIFA if you're really after a football sim, but it's good fun. And in the GameCube sense of the game before this, I had some great memories of playing that at uni with my mates there, so that's why I picked this up, really, just for sort of that throwback. But I'd actually be looking to get the GameCube version, if I can find it at a decent price anywhere. WarioWare Smooth Moves, I think this is one of the very early Wii titles, but it's absolutely hilarious. It's just tons of mini games that will make you use your Wii remote in such wacky ways. So it was a good sort of showing of what the Wii could do and what you should do with the Wii. It's hard to really explain it. It's kind of, it's multiplayer, you can play by yourself. You'll see something and you have to reenact it with the Wii remote. I played this with my friend Deza when he used to live here back in the UK, and you can't help but laugh your ass off when you're playing that game. Goodnight 007, a little bit slept on, I think. Obviously with the N64 game being so big, when this got released by a different company, it's not Rare who's made it, it was more about the legacy, and it's got the Daniel Craig character playing sort of 007, sort of, in a more modern sort of setting for GoldenEye. But it plays very well. It's decent graphics for what it is, and I enjoy it. The multiplayer is decent. People are always going to go back to GoldenEye and think that's the killer 4-player multiplayer experience, but it's nostalgia talking. We all go there. This you can pick up very cheaply, and the multiplayer is more than worth it. I know there's tons of these first-person shooters around now, but putting that James Bond feel on it, it's definitely worth getting. And although I didn't get the right version, when you did buy this, you could buy it with the gold classic controller, which is a pretty beautiful little piece of plastic, I guess. So definitely look out for that. Back to the Future game. Probably not the best version of this game. I think it was released on PC and for the PS3 as well. It's a point and click style game, sort of Broken Sword-esque, but because it's Back to the Future, and I love the Back to the Future franchise, it kind of plays out like a fourth movie. They've got Christopher Lloyd to do the voice of Doc, and a guy to do the voice of Marty, who was actually really good sound, a lot like Michael J. Fox, so they did a really good job with that. So yeah, definitely worth picking up. I've not completed it yet. I got a little bit stuck and I refused to read a playthrough, so I'll get back onto that when I get a chance. It's a good Sunday afternoon game, that is. Metroid Other M. I bought this mainly because I was a big fan of Super Metroid on the SNES, one of my all-time favourites. Metroid Fusion, again on the Game Boy Advance, so I do love the 2D Metroids. Metroid 2 on the Game Boy I had as well. And although Metroid Prime is stupidly popular, not that great at the old first-person shooters, so never spent much time playing that. I did have a couple of them on the GameCube that Tugboat bought me, so they did get played, but I was just never that good. So when this came out, I was intrigued. It's kind of a mishmash of sort of platforming like the older games, but in a 3D environment. And it's okay, it's not brilliant, it's a little bit slow. A lot of people moaned about the character development of Samus. I don't really care about that sort of thing. It's okay. I will go back to it at one point, but it's just something nice in the collection. NBA Jam. Very much a throwback to the sort of original 16-bit sort of series on the Mega Drive and SNES and the arcade. A lot of fun playing this a few years ago with my friends. We'd get together on the afternoons. This was a Wednesday afternoon, have a few beers, eat some pizza and talk trash while playing NBA Jam. Over the top 2-on-2 arcade style basketball. Plays very much like I say, the older games, and great throwback. And you can get this on the 360 and the PS3 as well. Career mode's fine, you know, it is what it is, but it's all about the multiplayer, and you can play it up to 4 players, so that's just a lot of fun, man. And I'd definitely love to get people together for that. Another potential Black Arrow Game Talk episode, because that can just be mayhem, especially with Rudy running his mouth playing this. Resident Evil 4 Wii Edition. Probably my favourite series, it's hard to say, possibly my favourite in the Resident Evil series. This and I love the first one still. Just kind of set the tone. But this plays great, especially with the Wii controls. I know some people prefer it on the GameCube or PS2 or whatever, but I love the Wii version. I played it a long time ago and only picked it up semi-recently, so I need to sort of revisit it again. But the graphics still stand the test of time, and like I say, with the Wii Remote, the controls are unique and it plays really well. I'll grab 2 here. It's the DJ Hero series, and I'd never really played much of Guitar Hero, and I don't know why. I really just put off playing it. I'd always be, you know, if I was around someone's house and they'd dust off Guitar Hero and people would jam, I just kind of watch people play. I never wanted to dive in the first time I'd play it in front of people, because I'd just find that I'd be so awkward with it. But being a music DJ myself, not a mixmaster, but a DJ as in picking the songs kind of dude, I was intrigued by this, and one of my favourite people, DJ Jazzy Jeff's a playable character on it and had some mixes on both the games, so I had to get it really. And yeah, I've had a lot of fun playing this, and I've actually used some of the mixes in this when I've DJ'd as well, because there's some good mashups on there. The soundtracks of these are probably a lot better than, a lot more varied, a lot better than the stuff you get on the Guitar Hero games. But they're both still a lot of fun. Would be worth dusting them off at a party and teaching people how to play, because you can put it, especially in the second one, you can put it in party mode, just let it pick tracks for you and have, swap the pad around, swap the controller around and let people play. But yeah, it's always good fun. Brewmaster, the Demon Blade. Again, I picked this up a few months ago. I was watching an episode of Game Sack and they talked about it and it just looked good. It's sort of a platforming hack and slash RPG a little bit game where you can sort of power up and pick up new swords. A lot of different ways to attack and everything, which you learn quite early on. And you just find yourself doing a lot of stuff and combos and stuff to beat the enemies and then pick up a load of things that I haven't actually, I've got so far into it and picked up various items and not really sure what to do with them yet, so I need to pace myself a bit. I think when I sometimes get into these games early on, I just want to go this way, go that way, go back, try and gather my surroundings, but without actually trying to level up and figure out exactly what I'm doing next. I think I've beat a couple of bosses and then I get stuck a little bit. So again, I've got to revisit this. This is becoming a games I should revisit episode really. But I think this is available on the PSP as well. But again, quite a unique game and definitely good in the Wii collection. I've got a couple here of House of the Deads. House of the Dead 2 and 3 are basically ports of the arcade games in the late 90s, early 90s. Quite cheesy with the dialogue, but still a lot of fun to play. Me and Rudy did an episode on House of the Dead 3 for Black Arrow Game Talk quite a while back now. But just great rail shooters. House of the Dead Overkill was released in, I'm going to say about 2009 probably. I think again it's on the PS3 and Xbox. It's kind of a reboot for the series, I think. And it's absolutely hilarious. It's kind of like a buddy cop sort of storyline, and so the cutscenes and the narrator and everything is absolutely hilarious in it. It's over the top. The enemies are over the top. Graphically, I'm assuming the PS3 version that is a lot better, but this does look a lot smoother than sort of the older 2 and 3 games, which I still think look pretty good for their age. But again, a lot of fun. I think we've got sort of several sort of missions in, but I guess they get stuck on the same bit each time. But again, with the Wii remote, it makes perfect sense to play that sort of game because you're pointing a Wii remote like a gun. Plus, I do have the plastic gun holders to get that legitimacy. And I think I picked them up for like £1. More trash in the box, really. New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I think most people who own a Wii would have this. Out of the 4/5, if you count the new Luigi Brothers one on the Wii U, this is probably my favourite of the new Super Mario Bros. Series. Not necessarily any better level design than the others. The DS one when it first came out was great, and the Wii U one and the 3D Mario Bros. 2 on the 3DS are both good. But I think because this brought in the 4-player platforming aspect, which is so new to side-scrolling stuff in the Mario series at least. This cheered my sister up when she was a bit down sometimes. She goes, this is the perfect sort of depression curer. It's something that's just so much fun. You can have a lot of fun 4-player. It's possible it can get difficult in the later levels when you're trying to vie for platform space, and you can help each other or hinder each other, but there's a lot of fun to be had on 4-player of that. And I think because it was a big screen experience, it was a step up for me from the DS version, a real throwback to the original Mario Brothers series. So this game holds its price, obviously, because people don't want to get rid of it. And then we've got Wii Play, which I'm not going to say a lot about because we've put out a video recently of Wii Play, and I want you to go watch that. And it's me and Rudy playing that. This got packaged with a Wii controller, or vice versa. You bought the Wii controller and got this, but it was fun, and technically it cost barely anything because you wanted to buy a new Wii remote anyway. And a couple of other games which I don't have at the moment because I've lent them out is Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, which are both great games and a real step up from Super Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine on the GameCube. They still look beautiful to this day. They're both highly rated 3D platformers with so much variation, and the Wii controls for it are quite clever. You don't have to do a lot of moving, you're just moving your wrist to collect star bits with the Wii remote, and then you're using a nunchuck as your main sort of joystick controller. So it plays a lot like a 3D Mario game with a regular pad. So yes, do love their Mario Galaxy games, and they will take up a lot of your time. So again, I haven't played them in a long time. I played through them originally when I lived in Sheffield when I got my Wii. And the second one, even less at the time I've got it, but it's another one that's on my list. It's almost like I'm buying a lot of games for retirement in like 30 odd years. So I'm going to be sorted for retirement. I won't need to leave the house, I won't need to spend money by then. Got a backlog of games to get through. So yeah, that's my Nintendo Wii collection as far as physical copies goes. As you can see, I've had on the screen some of the download titles I've got, which are a lot of the time are sort of from the Wii Virtual Console, so some NES and SNES and N64 games, etc. But we don't need to go through that today. So thank you for watching. Like I say, hopefully we'll be doing some more episodes soon on the collections, because obviously a bit of a backlog. I've got stuff for 3DS, Atari 2600, PlayStation, Super Nintendo, NES that I would like to talk about at some point, and also probably bring up some previous stuff that I've owned for like PC, which obviously I can't show you anymore because I was an idiot and got rid of it. But just to talk about stuff we had as a past that we sort of regret selling on or trading in or whatever. We'll do it, you want to fund for new games and stuff, and then you regret it later on, but it's what it is. But yeah, thanks for watching, and leave your comments, mention if you've played any of these games, what you think, and if I should get back into a few of them. And yeah, let's hope there's some more episodes like this to accompany what we're doing with Black Arrow Game Talk, and obviously what Rudy's putting out with all his toy things and everything on his channel. So peace guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you soon.